And we are live August 21st at 8 o'clock p.m. I'm joined again by my awesome co-host, Sean. Sean, how are you doing today? We've got a full show, and we are a little over, a week and some change before kickoff for OU at this point.
Hey,
What do you...
you could have fooled me. It's we are uh August is still the worst month, and I will continue to say that. So hang on
You,
one second here.
that was one of those things where I was like, Sean's wrong about that. Sean, there's
Oh, I'm
always
wrong. I'm
content.
wrong about lots of things.
But I'm going to give you credit on air because even I was struggling to start coming up with topics for two shows. I'm like, I'm running out of stuff. Like, I need the season to get here now so I can get to the regular schedule. Like, Sean, you were right. You were right. So
What about August? Yeah, I'm always worried about August. People always say I'm crazy. He's like, no, it's not. It's like, no, you just wait. You'll get to the 15th and think it's time, but it's not time. It's never time. And then you'll be so obsessed, and you'll be welcoming these week 0 games that are mostly trash, and because everyone's saying college football this week, and it's like, I mean, if my team's not playing, so
it's true.
I mean, if you're a Florida State fan, I think you're excited. Maybe or is Florida? No, Florida State's not playing this week. I don't think they are.
Yeah, they are. They're playing against
Desquan, something with a
I'm personal friends with a Florida State fan, and he told me they are not. They think that's already jinxed. Like, there's a good chance they could get upset, and they're like, we really don't want to be this.
Well, Florida State's got to get ready for LSU. So, I actually found another game besides Nebraska that I might watch if I can find it.
Ooh, is it Vanderbilt, Hawaii, or Utah State versus
No,
UConn?
it's UTEP versus North Texas.
Oh yeah, because that's going to give us our first preview of our opponent for the following week.
Yeah, North Texas is also a decent little program too. So
yeah,
shout out to Seth Luttrell. Yeah, so I mean, that's on something called Stadium. I don't know if I have it. I'll find out this week if I do have it. But I'll, like last year, I'll watch Nebraska probably lose to Northwestern or something when they're in Ireland. So if it's in another continent, it doesn't count as a loss. So I guess they'll be all right.
I mean, though, how many programs can say they've lost on another continent?
UCF. They did the Ireland game too. So, but
did you see some of our fans were saying we need to go do that? And I said no, we don't.
No, I please do not outsource OU football games.
I absolutely agree. There is no reason for it.
It's bad enough that once in a while we'll do the neutral site, Jerry World game, which we don't do very often, but we're 0-2 on those, BYU and Houston, so let's not do those anymore. But yeah, we're just kind of like crawling our way to the season, and not much to report other than fall camp is over, and
let's start with fall camp because I have lots of topics. Let's start with fall camp.
Sure.
I guess my big question for you is going to be, who do you think the starters are going to be that are still in a position battle, both on the offense and the defense side? Because I know like Dylan Gabriel is going to be our quarterback. Davis is probably going to be the backup at this point. But what about spots where they're like, there could be some changes?
I don't know about change. Well, I don't know if it's like that big of a deal. Like I don't know about guys losing jobs per se, but you got a brand new coaching staff, so everything's up for grabs for the most part outside of quarterback, which they named pretty quickly, which was obvious. Just like trying to figure out the offensive line for the most part. There's a feeling that Savion Byrd's going to be slid inside and become a guard. He's going to take one of those spots. So maybe if you're like if you think Chris Murray or the was it McCain Mattower kid, the transfer out of Cal, we'll see who gets one of those spots. But I mean, for the most part, I believe that Rames could be your center, and that Wanye and Anton Harrison are going to be those guys are going to be your tackles for the most part. I mean, Tyler Guyton is a guy that everyone's like hyping up and feels good if like one of those guys at tackle goes down, he could slide one of those spots. So it's nice to have a little depth at tackle that people feel comfortable with. And the two freshmen that we got this year are getting a lot of high praise. So, and that's where you want them to be. You want your true freshmen to be guys getting high praise, but not needing to start. I'm just throwing that out there. It's like,
no, you're not wrong.
It's nice to have true freshmen getting praise, but you don't need them to start. I mean, who would be in that situation right now? With one of them potentially turning an ankle this weekend too. But
you're right though. I look at it as, and I'm not trying to be like the rent free, but I wouldn't want to be the Texas situation right now where they're probably starting 3 freshmen on the O line at this point.
Well, one of them tweaked an ankle this weekend, so we'll see what that turns out to be.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're projected starting left tackle, a true freshman.
Woo! That is not good.
So, I mean, if it's just a tweaked ankle, he'll be out a week or two. But I'm giving Yale Monroe a shot, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Other positions.
Well, what about let's say running back? Obviously, Eric Gray is probably going to be it, but I keep hearing good things about.
It's Gray major right now. I mean,
that's what I keep hearing.
That's going to be your 1-2. I don't think that's too shocking.
Yeah.
Javonte Barnes got a little dinged up in this fall camp. Nothing serious, but I mean, I'm sure he'll get his chances like a lot of the other running backs will. So Gavin Sawchuk will get it. Mm-hmm. I would love to see Gavin Sawchuk on special teams with his speed, with his straight line speed ability. Like, I would love to see if he can be a guy who could be there to return kicks.
And he's been getting a lot of praise about his speed during the camps as well.
Yeah. So again, just a lot. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who thought, Gavin Sawchuk's not going to be a guy who does anything this year, but I don't know. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be your starting running back, but there's definitely roles for guys like him if you could put him out there and do something. So,
I mean, he's turning heads right now with it. I mean, I keep hearing the same thing of it seems like Eric Gray and Marcus Major were splitting reps. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But
you're going to split reps with your running. Like, you're not going to, even if you have a number one running back, you're not going to give him that many reps anyway. So guys splitting reps makes sense. Like, the days of Adrian Peterson's going to carry the ball 25 times or 30 times, that's not happening. Like, those days are.
I guess I meant it more, Sean, where it was, is it a good thing that he's splitting more? It seemed like Marcus Major was getting more reps in a sense than expected. Does that mean Eric Gray is not doing as well at practice? Is it just we're just
no? If Gray's going to be your number one, you don't give him all these reps if you know he's going to be your number one. Like, you want to have 2 backs that you can rely on, like we did last year, which was a little bit of a nightmare for a while because we only had 2 to 3. No, it's like, that doesn't say that at all. It's the fact that, you only have somebody tread on the tires even in practice. So yeah, you split reps with guys. It's no big deal.
Gotcha. Okay. What about, so I mentioned too, and I just want to back up with it. With quarterback, we know Dylan and probably Davis. Who do you think is going to be third? Because I have not heard any positive things about Nick or General Booty. They're like, it's not clicking.
God, who the Penn State QB who transferred
Davis.
in?
Bevel?
Who? No. Penn State. The guy
Penn State.
The guy who's been here for a minute. He's been like number 3 apparently. Micah Bowens supposedly is our number 3.
Bowen. Okay, I didn't even have him listed. I'll be honest.
Well, he was on a milk carton for a while, so people didn't even realize he was still on the roster. Well, I've heard he's been the 3rd guy right now. So if we're getting down to our 3rd guy, we're screwed anyway. So I'm not it's not something that's like, I'm not going to break down the 3rd string QB because it's like, you're the 3rd string QB.
Absolutely. It was just a curiosity because the same thing was Dylan's obviously number 1.
Is it like a Chandler Morris situation or anything like that? So
right. With running back, do you expect it to be kind of the same thing we have with Samaje and Mixon, a 1-2 punch for it? Or do you expect Eric?
I would love to have Samaje and Mixon as a 1-2 punch, but we don't have that right now.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I mean, multiple running backs are going to play. So it's like, I don't like, you have to see it happen first, but no, like Eric Gray is going to be your main guy for the most part, and Major's going to be a guy. I think he can give a lot of carries at the second half and wear teams down. Kind of just go back and watch like that Cotton Bowl. That's kind of what he did. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the ideal situation. Now, I'm not saying you run Eric Gray every snap, but you you give Major a handful of snaps in the first half or whatever if things go well, and then he can carry you home in the second half of games. So I mean that's just the way, in a perfect world you'd like to see that. So
what about wide receiver? It's pretty obvious that Theo Weiss, Drake Stoops, and Marvin Mims are going to be your starters. And I would probably
no,
say
it's not. No, it's not.
Really?
As your starters? No, I don't think that's guaranteed. I mean, Mims is Mims, Farouk.
Mims, obviously.
Farouk is definitely a guy who could start. I think Theo's like Drake is not going to start, in my opinion. He'll definitely get throws. He'll definitely get time out there. Like your five guys, like here's what's getting real.
I'm honestly surprised on Stoops. I would have him as a starter just because he's a senior at this point.
Well, no, you got to look at depth chart wise. If you're talking like your X, Y, and Z guys, so to speak, like it's going to be Marvin, it's going to be Theo, like it's going to be Farouk on some level. The guys that are going to contribute a lot quicker, Jaden Gibson and Nick Anderson are going to be Jaden Gibson's making noise, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's been getting a lot of looks. I know I'm going to be saying that a lot. But
Jaden Gibson made. Now, I got to be careful because I've seen amazing catches in practice before, and these guys turned out to be nothing. But Jaden Gibson making some plays, man. He's got amazing length. He's got Reed Richards, Monkey D. Luffy arms. So that guy is going to, I think when you get midway through the season, he's going to make a play or two that's going to make you go, wow. So everyone likes to point to the big play he made late in the spring game. And I always took that with a grain of salt because
it's the spring game.
Well, it's not just the spring game, it's late in the spring game, and you're emptying the depth chart at that point. I was like,
yeah, because you want all the guys to be out there.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, he can make some plays, but yeah, I'm excited about like what he and Anderson could possibly do. So receivers, I was told all our receivers are gone now. The television, the television told me that we don't have any wide receivers anymore. So,
I mean, I was told that Oklahoma was dead on the road about 5 months ago. That we're roadkill. The wagon lost its wheels.
Yeah, so I was told we don't have receivers anymore, but that's okay.
That's okay. What about then? You mentioned Gibson, and I was going to say the same thing. Gibson, I've been hearing a lot about him and Harrison like through these fall practices. Where do you think Farouk will be at that point? Is he going to get? I obviously know Theo and Mims are going to be our main backs. How do you think Farouk is going to be in the mix?
Wait, you said backs? What do you say? Say that again.
Wide receiver.
Say that again.
Mims and Theo are obviously going to be our main wide receivers.
How do you think? I mean, you're hearing. I mean, I don't know. You're just hearing lots of things about Farouk. So I mean, again, we got to. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're going to have 1,500 yards or anything like that. But just we have options at wide receiver. We have guys making plays in practice. I don't know much else I could say other than that.
Oh, I was just thinking, like, do you think he's going to be used in short yardage situations? Is he going to be a more open field guy? What maybe curiosity or any thought with that?
I mean, with the Jeff Lebby offense, there's a lot of things you can do. So, yeah. I mean, Lebby's offense is like, if you go watch Ole Miss tape, it's not quite option routes, but like there are guys where they're able to Lebby loves to like use the entire field and stretch you out. So it sometimes you see a lot of formations depending on how far you are on the hash mark, they're going to be over here, but like he stretches guys out a lot. So uses the entire width of the field at times. So, I think whether it's short, whether it's yak or yard, you're gonna have like Theo's a guy who can get some yak or yardage and everything. Same thing with Mims. So a lot of these guys are versatile. They're not just like one trick ponies. So
absolutely.
So it's like you're gonna use guys in short yardage. You're gonna use guys in going deep, whatever. So.
And that's big thing too, that I think it was Crimson Cream Machine who had like Jeff Lebby's like kind of break down the X's and O's, and he's like, it's almost like a hybrid version of the wishbone where if depending on how the linebacker runs at you, that wide receiver is going to be open, or he can be used to hand it off to the running back at this point. Like it's it's a spectacular type of X's and O's if you want to delve into it.
No.
I'm not an X's and
No,
O person.
I mean, well, neither am I. But like, I heard someone complain that like early on that Levy's offense just abuses the hash marks and whatnot. That's why they was like, okay, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like someone whined that it wasn't like there wasn't like it wasn't diverse enough or whatever. It was like, bro, if you got players who can play and can make those plays, it's like, I'm going to abuse. Listen, if you have a weak corner and I can beat him every time, I'm going to abuse the hell out of him. That's what they did. They did to us for years.
Yeah.
Baylor, you'll think, okay, you're going to play 10 yards off the line of scrimmage and give us all this cushion. All right. We're just going to like doink it down to the receiver, get a little screen going, and just like, we're just going to move on down the field till you move on up and we beat you deep. So,
yeah. Rush 3, drop 8. Like, that's literally what people have done. I always, whenever I hear that, I've always heard it's like Halo. Camping's not a legitimate strategy. And it doesn't matter. You're here to win the game. That's what it is if you're in a competitive setting just like this. You're here to win. You're not here to play honorably.
when I was in Afghanistan, I was forced to play LAN parties for Battlefield 2. I know, weird. I was forced to play, and I would get into for Battlefield 2 is a fun little game, but I would get in a tank. I would park it. I would park it next to a flag. When anyone showed up, I would just like shoot them with the tank, and people get so like, "You're just camping." It's like, you're forcing me to play. I'll play how I freaking feel like it. So
exactly. I always have the thing where it's like
when you're 3 weeks into your deployment and you're like, "So how's Afghanistan? LAN parties." Battlefield 2, pissing off an NCO by shooting people with a tank.
Why are you shooting? It's here, dude. Like, that's the game we're playing.
The tank is next to the flag you're trying to capture. I'm protecting it. I'm doing like...
I'm playing the objective.
Exactly.
It's
like legitimate military non-commissioned officers are yelling at me for, guarding my post in a video game when I'm supposed to like just go where I'm supposed to go all Leroy Jenkins all the time so he can have fun. But yeah.
Oh, it always makes me laugh of there's some irony of them yelling at you for doing the objective.
Sorry, anyway. I believe you taught me to do the opposite in a real world situation. This is a video game. Have fun. So I am having fun. You're getting mad.
It's your fault. My dad asked me this, and I want to throw it at you, Sean. Do you think Hazelwood will be missed this year with it, or do you think we have enough coverage with Mims and
Hazelwood's? I don't think so. Like, everyone thinks, "Oh my God, we're gonna miss all our receivers." No, I've moved past it. Like, I would like to have Stogner still. Sure, we don't. So.
What? Well, and you bring up Stogner.
I'm tired of people trying to tell me how much of a loss Mario Williams is. It's like, all right, if you can go back to every OU football game last year and show me all the plays he made that mattered, please tell me what we're replacing. Please tell me what we missed. Now, I'm sure USC fans will point to, look at the guy we stole from you. It's like, that's great. You went 7-5 at best or whatever. Congratulations. You got Mario Williams. You know what the most memorable Mario Williams play I can remember?
The Alamo Bowl.
No, not even that. I remember he was wide open on a route that would have been for an easy touchdown late in the game against Texas. That Caleb missed him. He missed him. He was like, he did like a big crossing, underneath route. Would have been wide open, gone. Would have been, no one would have touched him. And it's like, you go back and watch it. It's like, yep, that's a true freshman missing the wide open receiver. Still won the game and everything, but. Again, what plays, the touchdown he didn't get credit for, the Elmo Bowl, because his helmet got taken off.
Whenever people bring up Mario, it actually reminds me of a conversation.
He got a touchdown against Tulane.
Where was he the other 11 games? It reminds me of when you were doing your top best running backs list, and it's like, why don't you ever mention this? That's where I think of with Mario. Like, he'd be great if he actually did stuff. Mm-hmm. I agree. I don't remember Mario outside of that Alamo Bowl.
Oh God! If I what we talked about right before we went on about me being in my 20s and getting back, someone was I got tagged in some Twitter thread, and someone was bringing it up. Someone brought up Damon Parker as in the same vein as Adrian Peterson, and I just no,
not worth it. Not worth it.
no.
Live or tweet.
Do not compare Damon Parker and Adrian Peterson.
Never tweet. Never tweet.
We sucked so bad in the 90s. You thought he was great. He was good, not great. I liked Damon Parker. He's not Adrian Peterson.
No, because very few people are Adrian Peterson. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. We're not going to miss Mario, but you brought up a good point. Tight end. Stogner, in my opinion, will be missed. Now, I want to see him more grow. I thought he missed a lot of catchable balls. Who is going to be the starting tight end, though? That's my question.
I don't know about starting tight end, but Braden Willis is going to be your main guy, and then you're going to have the guy out of Missouri. I think they got him listed as an H-back, though. I could be wrong.
Parker?
Yeah, the transfer from Missouri. He likes to hit people. He likes to block, and I'm all for guys who like to hit people and block. So again, I look forward to watching him hurt people. So that's what he's going to do best. He'll catch a few balls here and there, but but Daniel Parker is a guy that I think can really. So we'll have to replace both. I mean, we'll have to replace both those guys, but we'll have Caden Helms and Jason Llewellyn, those type of guys who will hopefully get a year to develop. Jason Llewellyn's a guy I'm looking forward to when he gets a year to develop him. So we'll see what he can do down the road. But,
I'm so glad you said his name because I'm like, I know it's this, but I don't know if it's this. So thank you for saying his name so I get it correct even for myself. I had the same thing where it was like I thought Braden was going to be the starter and Parker would be the backup with it, but there hasn't been any.
Well, they're both going to be out there for certain plays. They're gonna be blocking and hitting people. And
so, what about for looking at then? You mentioned O-line stuff as well. Who is the other ones besides the obvious that have gotten a lot of talk as well in the fall camps? Because I think it was Savion Byrd you mentioned. I've heard a lot about him.
Yeah, they want to. Yeah, Bill wants to put out his best 5. So
what we're allowed to do that? We're allowed to put our best 5 out.
Well, I mean, Beanbo is a guy that's he's growing. He's grown. He can still grow and become a better coach. At his position, and I think it helps a combination of learning some hard lessons from last year, and you get Schmitty back to develop your guys to not be noodle arm weaklings that can actually block people, and he's going to do that. So I mean, I mentioned I already mentioned the guys that I think are going to be out there for the most part. I think Savion's going to play guard, and Murray Tower take that other guard spot, and then you're good to go. So I like what the O-line can be this year. Just transformation, and I think we're going to have both sides of the ball on the line are going to be very solid. So, like the one thing I took away from fall camp overall is that no one side of the ball truly dominated the other. I mean, we've had great moments on both sides, and I think at the end of the day, that's what you want going into fall camp because you can have moments where you can have a sense of where, oh my God, one side of the ball is so bad that the other side doing well,
looks good.
Just by comparison, but they're not even any good because they don't have any play. It's just, again, I mean, you're always going to make comparisons to your rival and what's going on down there, but I mean, they're in trouble. I don't get the sense we're in trouble. I love where OU is right now, and I think if there's one area that I want to see come together that I think has a chance to be special, because let me rephrase that. Not special, but
you're talking about a unit, not the full
team.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the secondary. I think the secondary can be the best it's been in quite some time. It can still give up some plays. It's still going to have guys who are going to get burned from time to time. Billy Bowman's been thrown out there by Brent as the guy who's been the most consistent player on defense. He's going to need. He needs to be. And then
you're mentioning defense. Let's just dive right into it as well.
But you got Key Lawrence, they're back there. Woody Washington is definitely going to be one of your corner spots. The Jaden Davis hype is out there. There are some people who don't want the Jaden Davis hype to be out there.
Why is that?
Well, because have you watched Jaden Davis play football in the past year or two? It hasn't been great. So
that's fair. He had flashes and then kind of fell off. You're right.
You know what his most memorable play is for some people who hate him? Hate's a strong word, but like opening play of Texas. You saw what happened. He missed that tackle bad. But the word around the campfire is like Brent Venables has brought a revolutionary tactic to OU football, teaching his defense how to tackle.
We're allowed to do that. We're allowed to have wide receivers. We're allowed to like.
I know.
What?
I know it's shocking, but apparently he's taught this team how to tackle. We'll see if that comes to pass in about like 12 days or so. But it's apparently we're allowed to tackle. We've been tackling in practice. What a shock.
Next, you're going to tell me, Sean, that we're allowed to. Yeah, you're going to tell me, Sean, that we're allowed to use the running back on 3rd and 1 situations instead of throwing it. Like, whoa.
I mean, it's 1 yard. I mean, why just get one when you can get like no yards on an incomplete pass?
Exactly.
So, but like the other guy, for the nickel spot, Justin Harrington has risen. The hype is back tenfold for him. He was a guy a couple years ago who we heard a lot of good things. He was going to steal a safety spot, then he got hurt. Mm-hmm. Then he left the team, then he came back. There was thoughts about whether he was going to be anything outside of a special teams guy. Now he's just getting rave reviews at nickel. And I know I was a believer in Trey Morrison, the transfer out of North Carolina, was going to take one of those spots, supposedly. I know Justin Broyles is still on the team, and people have heard things about him. So, again,
Broyles, this is perfect because I've heard mixed. I've heard he really shouldn't be there.
He went to Big 12 Media Days, damn it. So he did something right.
That's fair.
Again, Justin Broyles is just going to be one of those guys where I think he'll be a solid football player this year, whatever he does. So just because of the Venables factor. Linebackers. I'm really excited about linebackers this year. It seems like Deshaun White and Stutzman are locking down those spots. If we're talking about a 4-2-5. So I'm excited the potential of guys that could rotate in at times if they need to.
Kanik has been getting a lot.
I'm really excited about Jaron Kanik. I'm more excited for what he could be next year and the year after that, or what he could be. He will get moments like Danny Stutzman got last year, I think, and it will be. I just think the way this defense is, Bill Connell, ESPN, put out his like S&P rankings today, and take it for what it's worth. Overall, based on his rankings, he has OU as the 4th best team in the country. Just based, and it's a combination of
everything.
Well, it's recency, recent success, recruiting rankings, and production that returns. And a lot of that production that's returning counts from transfers coming in. It's because, you have your Luaus and Johnsons on the defensive line, and you have like the Trey Morrisons and whatnot. But man, it's just, I think you're going to see this defense this year make plays, we're going to have moments where it's like, you're going to have a lot of flash moments like this is what an OU defense used to look like. I don't think it's going to be as consistent as people want it to be, because you're going to see it one game or one series or two, and you're like, what happened to this? What happened to, you're going to see flashes of greatness this year. How consistent and how much you're going to see it, I don't know. It all depends on the opponent you're playing, how good against the coaching staff you're going against, how good does the quarterback play? All the little things are going to matter. So there's going to be some teams this year we'll play that will probably destroy. I believe that. I really do. And then there's going to be some games where they'll be off, or you're going to go up against a really good head coach, like a Dave Aranda, for example. Dave Aranda is going to come in and probably drive us nuts at times. Someone's going to figure us out at some point and come up with a game plan and get us off our game. And again, we're going to have to find out how much this team can adjust and what they got to do to get better, and how they can, find a way to make plays and win football games. But it's just there's no there is no one guy I point to on this defense where I'm like, yeah, this is the guy that's going to anchor us. There's guys at each position group I can say is important, but I don't think there's that one guy you point to, like a Will Anderson on Alabama, for example. I don't think you have that one guy. So,
or an Orlando Brown on the offense side when that was around. So,
I mean, even if you have if you have one good offensive lineman, I don't think that matters as much. You need to have more than one good offensive lineman. If you have one really good defensive end who can pass rush, that makes a difference. You need your entire O-line to be good, in my opinion. So, I mean, we had Trent Williams in 2009 and we still struggled. So
right.
The rest of the O-line was not that great. Trent can't block everybody. Mr. 99 on Madden. D-line wise, Reggie Grimes, expect good things. Yep. Jalen Redmond. This is the year for Jalen Redmond, I hope. Ethan Downs is another guy. You hear lots of good things. And Johnson, coming over from Tulane, man. I think he's going
to be a starter for sure.
Some people were like flipping flopping with him and Isaiah Coe. I think Johnson's going to be. Johnson gave us hell last year in week 1, and I'll be more than happy to return the favor to other teams. So I just think this feels like a really, really solid football team across the board. I've said this before on here and other places. I don't see one area where I say that's a horrible weakness.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I think the closest you could say that for me is like the secondary, because you got to see it all put together. So if they can put it together, this is a Big 12 championship team, in my opinion. I think they will win the Big 12. They're going to drop a game or two. It's just hard to pinpoint it. I said it here before. I don't like that Baylor game just because I think Dave Aranda, because Brent hasn't coached a game, to me, he's the best coach in the Big 12 right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even close. So he's got a lot of guys he needs to replace as well, but he's going to have a lot of time to figure his team out before like November 5th gets here, or whenever it is. So I just think at the end of the day, OU football is a really good season. They'll come up short with the playoff. And it's hard for me to say that because there are moments I read about this team and it's like, don't drink the Kool-Aid, don't drink the Kool-Aid, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't do it. Because I want to pick them to go to the playoff. I want to pick them to go like 12-1 and do it. But it's just, that's a lot to ask. And then, but again, then you go back to, well, the schedule's favorable. You have all these big games at home, and all these things are. Texas is turning into a tire fire again, and all these little things are going in your favor. Like the schedule's workable, man. The schedule's workable, man. And it's like that's gonna like haunt me for the next week or so before I actually get out there and have to say something.
Well, it's also too we've gone through that where everything looks good. This is gonna happen, and then we throw up on ourselves. Or we drop one on accident.
But everyone throws up on themselves. That's the thing. Like, unless you're the national champion, everybody throws up on themselves. It's football. That's how it works. Yeah. So, again, I got to see certain things. I got to see this team get better. Like, I got to see them, because as much as there's going to be a position group or a player that we think is a surefire just based on camp, and for whatever reason, it's not going to work out. I'm not saying I'm not predicting who it is or what it's going to be. It's just that sometimes when you think you know what you got, you don't have anything, and you have to go elsewhere. So it's just, you got to see them in live action. So it's a benefit that they have UTEP and Kent State to start the year. So you can find out what you got out there. And like, granted, those are games OU are going to win, but they're decent little teams that you're going to play there. We don't have a Western Carolina game this year. We don't have that garbage going right now. So like scheduling those are the most useless football games to play. It's like you don't learn anything about your football team playing Western Carolina or these garbage FCS games. They're just not. They're like, I hate them with a passion. So I watched that game last year. It's like, this is like some little JV squad. They don't know business on the field with OU football.
I mean, I'd argue Kent State is that, but
no, like Kent State is like no, that's Maction, man. I get Kent State more. Kent State went down to College Station and gave the Aggies all they could handle for like 3 quarters.
But that's the Aggies, though. I mean, that's a little.
Yeah, but Aggies have legit football players you've heard of. Like, that's my point. I'm not sitting here to tell you that Kent State is going to beat OU. What I'm saying is, it's like, it's not as so, like, Western Carolina was a bad football team, even on FCS level. Those are garbage like games. It's embarrassing to play those games. And to charge people $50 or $60 for it. We're not doing that shit anymore.
I was going to say, Sean, did we really play them because they were on pay-per-view? And if nobody watches the pay-per-view, did it really happen?
No, it's just, it's not like important now, obviously, because we're on ESPN Plus, and I hope all the olds out there have figured out how to use ESPN Plus and checked out Sooner Vision and watched we got our new little quasi Hard Knocks thing that they're doing. I've never seen a grown man slap another man with a tortilla in my life, and I've seen some shit in the Army, so that's new. But other than that, it was a fun little watch. Got a little cinematic presentation of fall camp, and I'm sure we'll get one this coming week as well.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a question on defense as well because you didn't cover it.
I refuse to answer any more questions, but go ahead, ask anyway, I guess.
Well, I guess broadcast over, guys. Like that. No. How much of an impact will Roof and Walker being out now impact the team? Because I know Roof, he's not.
Who else?
Roof, with him being out with his quad injury for the year.
Yeah, but who else? Who'd you say?
Braden Walker. He's out for the year. He retired from.
No, Brandon. Yeah, but he was never a factor though.
Okay.
All due respect, he was never.
And that's fine. I just want to cover both of them because Walker, it's back injury. For those of y'all who don't know, he retired on back injury. Yeah. That's fine. He's going to be around as a student.
Well, Ted Roof had like a bicep tear or whatever, so his arms. Correct. So he's got a hard cast and a sling. It sucks.
And he was getting praise out of camp. Like he was really showing out.
I mean, he was a guy. You didn't bring him in just because he was Ted's son, although that helped. But yeah, it sucks. You were hoping he would have a contribution, and that's not going to happen. So, but amazing, like an injury happens and it doesn't derail your season.
Correct.
Like there's only one guy on this roster who that could happen to, and
knock on wood.
Yeah. So, other than that, I mean that's most rosters. Like when you stop and say it out loud, but.
Yeah,
but
you see Roof though coming back next year? Because I keep on.
I don't know. Like that. Okay, I have no idea on that. So
okay, because I kept hearing from other podcasts, they're like, "Nah, he'll have to go into coaching at this point." With that, I'm like, "Why? He has another year."
Yeah, but you're at this point where the depth is going to get a lot better, considering.
That's fair. I didn't think of that. That's fair.
Like you have guys like Kobe McKenzie's and the Kip Lewis's of the world who are going to like get their shot next year and add to the depth of the roster. So, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what much else to talk about. I mean, we got 2 good punters, so we have the replacement for Turk on the roster already based on the spring game.
Preseason Big 12 Turk, not just Turk. The only OU. That still cracks me up with it, but would I mean
he just loves Jesus more than anybody on the roster, so that's why he got on the. That's why he made it. You know, he's in with the Lord, so
exactly.
That's why he got on that list.
Exactly. I mean, there's not really a lot on it. I mean, we have a new kicker. I mean, that's kind of it.
Well, I mean, I guess it's either going to be Schmidt or whatever. So I think Schmidt's going to be your guy because he hit a 46-yarder against. Can I help you, dog? There's a dog here. What wants to say hi? What? What do you want?
Dog?
Yeah, it's the dog I hate. What do you want? Nobody loves you.
For that was
your owner. Your owner is going to Chicago soon, and it's going to abandon you. And I'm going to ignore you too because I'm watching football on Labor Day weekend.
That's opening. Yeah.
Yeah, you can look at me all you want. Nothing's going to change.
Kennel, you say?
God, I wish.
But yeah, on kickers, it was Zach or it's going to be Gavin. It's going to be one of the two. at this point. But
I'll give the edge to Schmidt because he's kicked in a game before, so I just think that's how it's going to go down. He can hit a 46-yarder.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he doesn't have the what's it called after he kicked a burrito with Burkick. Burkick, man, that burrito screwed him over. Don't kick burritos.
Don't kick burritos.
But speaking of starting lineups and stuff, you have to mention too. Well, first, Jimmy asked how's Sawchuck looking. We've heard good things like his speed. That's what I keep hearing over and over. That
he
is fast. Yeah.
Again, like I don't know when we're getting a depth chart. I assume we'll get one next week when Brent does his game week presser. We're like a week or so away from that. When you think about it, like we're about. I think it's going to be it's still Tuesdays, right? Because I mean, it used to be Bob used to do Mondays, or then Riley did it Tuesdays. So I'm guessing it'll be Tuesdays still. So oh my god, I just realized who's Brent going to thank? Who's Brent going to thank when he's like
the fans?
No, you know what? Bob would always say thank you, Michael.
Oh. It's gonna be Barry Trammell. You just know it'll be.
No. There's someone who announces him on the radio or whatever. And now the head coach of the University of Oklahoma, Brent Venables. Who's he going to thank? That's the important thing.
Put it on your bingo card.
Is it Chris? It's Chris, right? It's got to be Chris Plank.
Yeah, it has to be Chris.
Yeah. It's got to be Chris Plank. Yeah, that's right. I always forget. So Chris Plank will be the guy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. He'll be a little raspy. Thank you, Chris. Because he'll be yelling at practice because.
Coach, are you okay? I'm okay.
Yeah. Serious mode. Brent Venables is here right now, so.
He is.
Like every time he talks to people, it's been serious mode Brent. It's not happy-go-lucky Joker smiley Brent. Even though he's shown that he does that on social media a couple times at a practice. So
yeah. Well, the honeymoon phase is over. He's here to play, and I like that. The
honeymoon phase isn't over. He's got a year.
Well, I mean, for him, business time.
Brent's got a year to do his absolute best, and I just think if Brent had a 9-3 record, there's always gonna be people that are upset, and there's gonna be circumstances and context of why it's a 9-3 record. But if Brent gave us a 9-3, people might be upset, but.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lose my mind. We're going to know why they're 9-3 and certain, but I think this is a 10-win team minimum. I think they can get to Arlington. So it's just you can't lose certain games. Like if you're going to lose games, it's got to be you need to have tiebreakers over people. So
yeah,
it's yeah. So anyway, I'm sure we'll just got to be. They're in game prep mode now. They're installing game prep for UTEP, Kent State, Texas, of course. Always got to get ready for Texas, just because.
Yeah. Tyler mentioned that's going to be Drake who took Michael Dean's place, so it will be Drake, possibly. Drake Deacon.
Oh, Drake. Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're on the topic of it, and I'm going to bounce back because I do have other topics too. But Weston brought up a point too for you with this squad. With the new head coach, do you think we're going to be more intimidating to opponents coming into the home field? I kind of agree with him that it's been pretty.
Well, I mean, come on. Well, I mean, we just have such a great tailgating scene at OU. I mean, come
on. Don't get me started.
We have such a great tailgating scene at OU. Everyone's going to be all liquored up and ready to go. So, wait, they're not.
Don't get me started on tailgating. I could go on for hours on it. Oh gosh, Eddie and Teddy are the biggest crybabies I've ever heard. Anyway.
I'm not associated with this channel. I'm just a guest. So
I will outright say that they are some of the biggest crybabies on this tailgating stuff I have ever seen. Get over it. Anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that.
You should call me a crybaby too. I've been vocal about it too. So you should be calling my ass out.
No, because you've been the middle ground of it. Yes, it's bad, but
it's not SEC ready. The truth of the matter is,
understand.
OU tailgating is not SEC ready. Like my most recent experience tailgating was with you and those carbon copy tents that people pay for over by the stadium. Yeah, the corporate ones. Like everyone has their the same little tent with their own personalized sign, and everyone gets they don't provide you alcohol. You got to bring your own alcohol, of course.
Correct.
and which makes sense. I mean, but like you gotta love. Not only do they screw you on tickets for various games, because the prices are different for various tickets, they screw you for those tailgating spots for depending on who the opponent is. So that Bedlam tickets going be those Bedlam like tailgating spots going to be expensive as opposed to the Kent State and UTEP ones. If you get my drift, so. You'd be dropping $700 minimum for a Bedlam tailgate spot.
I'm going to be the voice of dissent on that, where I get it, because time is money. Money is time. I go to conventions. That's why you pay for the sponsor tickets. You want to have a great time at the big tailgate, at the bigger games, you're going to be paying more.
You did not just compare nerd conventions to tailgating.
I absolutely did. Nerd! I know. Oh, God. I did. But here's the thing, though. But then you got, though, Eddie, who's going like, well, they should have opened it up to the fans. For it, they were never going to open it up to the fans on the southeast corner where the Bud was. That was always going to be corporate.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about that. But you still like you're basically killing the buzz of the game day atmosphere. First of all, it doesn't help before you had a bunch of 11 a.m. kicks at home, so it screws over. You don't have the chance. You don't have the ability to have those all day tailgating sessions where you lead up to a night game, because a lot of people are complaining, why is the Kent State game striped the stadium? Because it's the only game this year you can guarantee a night game, so where you can do that and have the good night game photo op for striping the stadium. That's why they did
it, because it's cursed. That's why, because it's
like they would stripe the stadium for a big game like Bedlam or Baylor, but there's no guarantee it's going to be a night game, because Fox Big Noon Sunrise is going to more than likely want to pick one of those games. They're going to have choice of OU Baylor or Bedlam, and Fox Big Noon Sunrise is going to set it up that way.
Well, it's also, and there's no guarantee you're going to win that game either. That's why they're picking the Kent State. It's a good photo op game, because I can't
Big sunrise kickoff. Big sunrise.
Kickoff.
Get up early and watch a football game. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it's... I guess I get upset with the tailgating thing is I keep hearing from Teddy and Eddie and others where they propose these things that are just unrealistic, that don't happen.
Why? Why are they unrealistic? Why is it unrealistic?
Well, let me throw an example at you. Teddy mentioned like it doesn't have the vibe because you don't get to go visit other people's tailgates and enjoy their company. That doesn't happen anyway. Like, I don't know where Teddy and Eddie get this idea that people tailgate hop.
But
they don't.
Because people bar hop and they want to be able to do the same thing at tailgates. Like there's a reason there are big time tailgates in the SEC, and you have the Grove at Ole Miss. You have Tennessee who have sailgating. I've heard stories about how cool some of these places are.
Yeah,
and
to me,
at the end of the day, unfortunately, like whenever you have B-roll, if you have like a big the old SEC 330 kick, like how many times do you see the atmosphere of wherever they're at? And it's tailgating is always a thing they go to, whether it's an Iron Bowl, an Egg Bowl, just a big matchup in general. You always see tailgating spots. They always get B-roll to show you, to see the fans outside, getting ready for the big game. So yeah, it's like we have Georgia coming in next year, and it's going to be embarrassing if our tailgating sucks overall. And it's going to be these, like, the prime spots are going to be the corporate carbon copy tents over by where we were back in 19. And then everywhere else, it's like, there's no other place to do it. I mean, Campus Corner is going to be busy, as always. Campus Corner is going to be nice and everything, but there's people like to do things and have their traditions, but you could do it way over there, as far away from the stadium as possible. It's like nobody wants to walk 3 or 4 miles just to go to a decent tailgate spot. It's ridiculous.
But that's Lindsay Street, Sean. That's not where the light touches.
Don't quote my meme. You don't get to quote my meme.
Not on this one. But no, it's
you got to do it properly if you're going to quote my meme.
That's fair. But the flip side of it, though, is then why would OU, outside of wanting to cash in, look at it? Because I look at it as my understanding
you're about to be in a conference that's going to make you at some point over $100 million a year in TV revenue. So don't sit here and tell me that they need to nickel and dime everybody. It's a bunch of crap.
But on the flip side of it, though, this is inevitable with every college. They're going to start doing this. Like, yeah, you may get pushback from Ole Miss.
If everyone jumps off a cliff, are you going to do it too?
They already are. I mean, it's going to happen. I think it's inevitable that you're going to get
if you want to have a shitty tailgating scene, because guess what? Like,
To me,
people are still going to show up to the games, I guess, but I mean,
well, and that's the thing. I think what I have seen, what I've asked, that's the thing to me. They're arguing is the tailgating versus the people who just want to show up and watch the game, and that's clashing. And I think OU is trying to figure out a way to balance it.
Shout out to Google for sending me my payment confirmation for my YouTube.
Cha-ching. For YouTube. I was going to say, is it your ticket confirmation for Dragon Ball this week?
No, I'm actually probably not going now because they no longer have subtitled showings, and I'm very upset about that.
Well, that's disappointing.
I mean, it's not shocking. It's not shocking to me, but it is what it is. So I got. But
it has Pan in it. But it has Pan in it.
Well, yeah, the best character in the whole movie is Pan. So
absolutely, I see it this week. No spoilers, but.
Wait. How do you tell me you agree with me when you haven't seen it? You lying sack of shit.
Because Pan is the best character just in general. Anything involving
but you
Pan
haven't seen this fantastic. Pan. You haven't seen this Pan yet. This is older. This is older Pan.
Oh, she's older. Because I was gonna say
she's not a baby. She's 3 now. She walks and she talks.
Oh, fantastic! That makes it even better.
Yeah, she's not a baby anymore. So.
Anyway,
that's what makes her the best character.
I was just going to say I always love the interaction between her and Piccolo, and this will make it even better. But
you will get plenty of Piccolo and Pan.
Yes. Anyway,
plenty.
Yes, that's what I'm looking forward to, and Gohan, of course. Anyway,
Gohan is definitely a major player in this.
That is fantastic. Anyway, with tailgating is just I'm not a tailgater. I'll be up front.
Neither am I, but I understand why people like it and why people do it and why it's important. So
I get it, but I think it's one component. I guess I look at it as this is not the hill you.
We're going to the SEC. If our tailgating is not improved by then, it is going to be an absolute disgrace to this program, this university. It is. Listen, we cannot walk into the SEC and take over in football, which Oklahoma is going to do.
We're going to be the Kings.
I need you to block Weston. I need you to block him for this comment.
Super is better than GT, my friend.
That is blasphemous. For real. That is the worst thing a human being has said on the internet in quite a while. Wow. That is terrible. You should feel bad as a human being. You really should. You should question all of your life choices for saying that out loud.
Because we know the one arc that's good in it is the Shadow Dragons, and that's what makes sense. Anyway, I guess, again, I look at the tailgating as a middle ground because Eddie and Teddy were bitching about it as well of how are people paying for this? I'll use my dad. He said he would go to it because he doesn't want to invest this much gear into it in 1 year, and he wants to be able to tailgate one time. I know plenty of people who also express the same type of deal. I think there's a middle ground, but
stop it. Jesus. Mute him, whatever. Terrible comments. Just awful.
Anyway, but that's my read on tailgating. It is what it is. But speaking of terrible things and awful things, Sean, tell me a little bit about what's going on at Texas, because apparently Texas fans are convinced that Ewers was always going to be the starter, and that he did this. Sark knew about this.
Well, no. No,
did not.
You mean their perfectly rated quarterback who turns the ball over a lot? That guy? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean
they're in the belief that
Card. No, I was told that this was a Sark decision all along, despite the fact that all the Texas guys were reporting the night before that Hudson Card was looking to be the starter, and then magically a phone call happened from 1 or 2 people. Or 3 or 4 or 12. And they said, and it just so happens that Quinn Ewers has a NIL deal that he announced not too on the same day. And that the SID ran into an interview room and said, Sark told me to tell you that Quinn Ewers is the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you say so.
Right, and they convinced themselves this was always going to happen. That didn't happen, guys.
Of course they were because they have because they have a plan. They have a plan where Quinn's going to be their guy for 2 years, and then Arch is going to descend from heaven on a diamond-studded chariot with teddy bears and with chocolate and teddy bears for the good little Longhorn boys and girls, and tosses them out as he descends and
you literally
save
just
the program.
described Prince Ali as he's coming to Agrabah.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was pretty on point.
He faced the galloping hordes, 100 bad guys with swords. Arch Manning.
That's fantastic.
He's got 75 golden arrows.
Oh, see, this is just waiting to happen. The best.
Don't they look lovely, June? Feathers, Harry. I love the feathers.
Rest in peace, Rob. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. You're chuckling at that too. That's the funny part. But no, there.
I want to do a parody song now.
See, good ideas come from us damning tailgating. Anyway,
Arch Manning.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Just superimpose his face over Aladdin as he's coming down.
See, great
there
minds.
You go. It just writes itself.
I know,
no,
right?
Just that program's fucked this year. They're basically.
Yeah, they are.
They will be lucky to have a winning football season.
Yeah,
their defense is still trash. Their offensive line is going to be awful. You can hype up your skill players all you want. It is not going to win you because the goalposts keep either getting moved up or moved back, depending on who you ask. Because, their ceiling was always going to be 9-10 games. No, it wasn't. That was never their ceiling. Your best offensive lineman goes down, you're screwed. If our best offensive lineman went down, we're not screwed. We'll find a way to fix it because we actually have some players. It's just you have Isaiah Nair gets hurt, he's out for the year. You have Ajay Hall, who's an idiot, who the Alabama afterbirth they brought over. Oh, he's gonna be he's not gonna be a problem child. Guess what? He's a problem child over here. And then you have a Roshan Johnson tweaks an ankle, he's out for a little bit. Yeah. And then you have whoever their projected left tackle is, true freshman, he tweaked his ankle or something a little bit. I've heard it's not serious. I'm sure we'll hear tomorrow. But I'm just Sark has the built-in excuse now of injuries are why my season's gonna be a failure. And that's fine as far as I'm concerned because it keeps him around another year because he's a weak head coach. He's been a weak head coach wherever he's been. I don't know what else I can say that I haven't said multiple times already.
I know one you haven't.
They're gonna make all the excuses for him this year, and that's fine. Their program will continue to be utter garbage.
But you forgot the big important one, Sean. You forgot that obviously the team was distracted because of Bijan Robertson and his Mustardson. Touchdown in your mouth.
I want some of that. I want to get some of that for real. If I can find, I need to order something like that. I need to get that for real.
But it's going to be a distraction, just like Spencer Rattler and the Raising Canes. That's the reason why they lost. No, it will not be. But that program, I'm just always in amazement. What is wrong with that program? I know the answer, but
the answer to the program is
I know that's the sad part. I know the answer.
Head coaches are not allowed to run that program. Period.
Correct.
A head coach who is hired to run that program is a handpicked puppet. They're not in charge.
I would say with the exception of Mac Brown because he knew how to handle it.
I guess so, and even
up to a point.
I am sick and tired of hearing how great a job Texas is because if the past 12 years has been an indication, because people when people say what's wrong with Texas, they always bring up in some shape or form, it's one of the best jobs. Really? Could you show me the proof it's one of the best jobs? I would love to hear that because you define me what a great job is. I hear all this shit. People say Alabama's the best job or Ohio State. Georgia's the best job. People put Texas in the top 5. Let me read you something from The Athletic. This was posted almost a year ago. Mm-hmm. This is before Sark's first year. So they asked coaches around the country to vote on what the best jobs were. they put out a poll, like a silent poll or whatever, just like who, and somehow Texas on a point system got number 4, and they wrote something along the lines of, no surprise that this one was one of the more divisive jobs and still one of the most prized positions in the sports. Other schools beneath the Longhorns on the list received more first place or second place votes, but they're a tough program to leave off the ballot. Why?
It's because of the money. You know the reason.
They still make more, in the second paragraph, they still make more money than anyone. They're still located in an attractive city. They're still living in an incredibly talent-rich state. Tom Herman and Charlie Strong were able to recruit at a top 5 level early in their 10 years, regardless of record. The record part's kind of important. The Longhorns haven't done a great job lately of leveraging all that into a steady, high-level success Mac Brown enjoyed, but it's easy to see why many in the industry still believe this job can be one of the finest when fully optimized. If I have to hear when it all comes together, that's what I like. Well, when it all comes together, watch out. I'm still waiting.
Because it's not.
I'm still waiting.
It's what you told me, and I've told it to Dad, and we've embraced it. It's true. You want to know how to define your program? Take your best year, basically your best coaches, drop them, and that's what it is. Texas is not a good job.
Take away your best and worst coach ever.
Yeah. What is Texas? Okay, pick Mac Brown or Darrell Royal.
Yeah, it's Darrell Royal.
Yeah.
And I honestly, forget national titles. Mac has been the most consistently winning head coach, double-digit wins. Nobody has consistently won at a high level more than Mac. Even Darrell Royal. Darrell Royal would have Darrell Royal would have go back-to-back years at the dip for a little bit, then come back up. And he probably has more double-digit win seasons than Mac because he was there forever. He was there from the 50s till the 70s. But even so, it's Texas is not a consistently boom, boom, boom. They're always there. Because if they were, they would be much more revered. But for some reason, they get this reverence. And there's the thing that drives me nuts, because it always ties back to OU. And I always hear, well, why is it OU? I was I always hear OU's in-state recruiting. That always comes up, our in-state recruiting. I'm sorry, our in-state recruiting. Is there a barrier in other states? I'm sorry that we're able to recruit nationally. I'm sorry we're able to recruit in Texas. Because how do you think Bud Wilkinson made a living? He had he had his radius that went from Norman to northern Texas, everything into both panhandles. And that's where he recruited from and won 47 in a row. But
let's be honest too, though, with OU, it benefits that A, we're a blue blood, of course, but B,
but why is OU a blue blood? Is because they had their shit together since 1947.
And it's because there's a lot of players, Billy Sims, Adrian Peterson, who.
Where do they come from? Those two guys came from Texas.
Right. I'm using them as the example where they have literally left Texas to spite Texas. Now, Adrian Peterson, a little bit less, but Billy Sims has always said, oh, yeah, I did that.
Billy's going to go to Baylor.
But he said he had no plans in going to Texas. You're either a Texas fan or you're an everybody else fan.
Well, you're not going to go to Texas because Texas is racist as hell.
Well,
it took them a while. It took them a while to get some black players on that team. I mean, granted, they finally got Earl Campbell, but
they still brag about the last white team. It's guys, no,
we're one of the great white teams of the 1960s.
Yeah, and they brag about it. It's guys, no.
So cringe.
But it's because it's
the last all-white team. It's dude, why would you just say you had a national title team, bro? It's okay.
Yeah,
you
don't need that. That's.
But no, I hear it's all about glamour. It's all about glamour. Same thing with SC. It's the same thing with Texas. Same thing with Miami. It's all about glamour. It's that. That's what a lot. And they'll always say they're like a great value Dallas Cowboys. They're a great value Dallas Cowboys. And I'm a Cowboys fan, but I've come to accept the fact that Dallas is never going to win a Super Bowl until Jerry's dead, and Steven takes over.
Because Jerry is the example of what's happening with
Jerry's going to screw shit up, and we let a lot of guys go this year for Dallas. That I'm well, you have CeeDee Lamb, and that's it at wide receiver. good luck winning a playoff game. But it's just I will continue to hear all the apologies for Texas because they're supposed to be good allegedly, but they never put it together, and no one's able to like. I want someone nationally to destroy them. I need to see it.
Herb Street, he started to where he's like, this is not what it's supposed to be.
Well, Herbie has like credibility and integrity. He'll actually call, like he called out Miami once. Said, Miami, you suck.
Yeah.
Like Kirk will actually call you out. Like Joel Klatt's never going to do it. Like Joel Klatt is like officially like on my shit list permanently because I know everyone's like, oh, he would go to bat for OU. And when you figure out really what it was, he went to bat for Riley. Riley's his boy. See, like he has his guy. Well, no, it's not just because USC. Riley's his guy, and he's going to support Riley at USC. Same thing with Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's his guy. Mm-hmm. And he would always make excuses for Jim Harbaugh why he couldn't win at Michigan up until recently. And now the same thing's going to happen. Everyone knows that USC is going to suck this year. So, like, Riley's going to get a pass year one, regardless of, like, we could celebrate them losing 5, 6, 7 games at USC. Riley's going to get a pass. Oh, well, look at the disaster he walked into. Okay. Yeah, that's what you're going to get. So,
oh, yeah, we know that. And
if OU wins the Big 12, well, they're going to quote it's Riley's players when in reality it's like we're going to point to a bunch of other guys.
Oh, don't forget the built-in excuse already saying of Oklahoma State had a lot of turnover. Baylor even had their stuff. Like,
well,
it's a wide open conference.
That's why deep down, the only way Brent could give a big middle finger represent for OU. Well, yeah, obviously, just make the playoff and win a game.
Yeah,
like imagine if Brent was able to actually get to the national title game, just get there, win or lose, doesn't matter. If first of all, the expectation will go through the roof, people lose their minds, including myself.
Oh, I would too.
But if he got to the playoff and he just beat anybody. I don't care if it's Michigan State or Bama, just whoever it may be. If he just wins a game, he's already surpassed Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
He's already surpassed him because Riley did everything except win a playoff game. He did everything else. But that's he's like, we're not going to hold that against him. It's like, well, like all these other things. So, because the belief is you can't do certain things at Oklahoma. You can't have good defense at Oklahoma. You can't, he's a defensive coach, this and that. So, I want it right now. I would love to see it right now. I would love to give, all this like pent up frustration energy to throw the bird at everybody and say,
would you be the pettiest person on YouTube if we won it? Would you be cashing in 20 years worth of receipts?
Oh, that's not even a question. Are you kidding me? I've been waiting to be petty since 2000. So since January 3rd or 4th or 2000, I've been waiting to be petty again. Believe me, I will. You have no idea how petty I will be. I will open up if we won the Natty this year, I would open up every video I made until the next season with Will Smith from Ali. The champ is here. The champ is here. Just every single video, every single one. Every time when someone will try to rip OU in a comment to me, I would say, "Don't care, champs. Don't care, national." I would say it'd be my automatic. You're a child, don't care, national champs. Just like whatever insults they want to throw at me, you only have one working eye. Don't care, national champs.
You pay for players.
Don't care, national champs.
Don't care, they delivered.
Don't care, national champs. Whatever insult you want to throw at me, like, don't care, national champ.
Will that be your new tagline? Onikuno. Don't
care, national champs. Don't care.
Goodness.
I don't care.
I cannot.
I just want to win
just for that. Well, okay. Please tell me you would change your Twitter profile to like the T-Rex holding like the championship.
I've thought about that. It would. I don't know how it would look. Maybe we'll see. I would have it in there somewhere. But
have him hold up a sign. Don't care, national champs.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
That'd be great.
Well, you see, here's the thing. I have multiple frames like screenshotted of that, and I have a very big toothy grin, even smuggier smile, where it's just like where he's just like, believe me, if we that will be the new screenshot instead of just the casual one. It'll be the real toothy grin, smug smile. It'll be very that's what it will go to. I will have that one ready to go.
I cannot wait. Just cannot wait.
Well, it has to happen first, but again, I just want to win the Big 12 this year, bare minimum. If we could do that, I'll be very happy. I'll be a little disappointed if we don't, but
I will be too. But
I just think this team is capable of doing it this year because just the schedule lines up. Most of your tough games are at home. They're going to try to convince you Nebraska is going to be good or is going to be whatever, but
make it through Dublin.
We're going to get a look at what Nebraska looks like this week, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, if you take,
I kind of hope they win and look a little decent. So,
well, and keep in mind too, if you take a look at it, like OU schedule versus the others is very favorable. Like you look at Baylor, man, that is a tough schedule. They got to go to like Oklahoma State, then Iowa State, turn around, go to West Virginia. They have to travel to Texas. Like they got a tough schedule.
They're going to beat Texas. Like,
well, they are.
Anyone with a pulse is going to beat Texas this year. They just will. We're going to beat Texas. Bama's going to murder them. Number one, we're going to beat Texas.
Did you see the spread?
17.5.
No, it's 35.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's
no, it's not. It is not 30. Texas, Bama is not 35. Get the fuck out of here. It is not. It is not. No, you are. No. Like all due respect to your dad, he misread something. It is not 35 points.
I was laughing. I'm like,
I'm looking this shit up right now. There's no way in hell it is 35. Not a chance if it'll let me go to it.
Maybe then he's looking at combined, whatever it is. I don't know. I laughed and said, take the under. So.
No, the spread's not on there for ESPN right now. Last, it was 17.5 last I checked. It is not 35. Trust me. If it was like, it is not going to jump that.
You'd be making bets at that point.
No, I think Texas would cover 35 just based on skill guys. I think Xavier Worthy would get a big touchdown at some point. He's not going to do that consistently, but I think he and Bijan could get some points on the board. But no, 30. No, it is not 35. Not even close.
When we find out, it's going to be great. The chat's been asking a lot about recruiting, and I do want to cover that as well as the Big Ten stuff. Sean, I saw that On3 was saying about Hicks that he's starting to lean now towards A&M, but now I'm also seeing too that he hasn't changed. Like they had OU at 35.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's not? Okay, then they have wrong info.
He ain't leaning towards A&M. Hicks is a lock, dude.
He is at this point.
He's one of the locks. Mm-hmm. He's one of the locks.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Dude, the word with him is that his decision's getting moved up. Like he ain't doing Under Armour decision, pull out a hat. Like word around campfire, his decision's moving up.
That's okay. That is what I've heard as well. That he wants to get it done really.
He has a great relationship with Todd Bates. We win in this one, so not buying A&M with him. But we'll wait and see on that one. Like now, Jordan Renaud is a guy that's going to decide on the 12th.
Yeah.
It's between OU and Bama. I'm gonna lean Bama right now until I hear something different. But that's a tough one. But the ones that are more imminent right now are on Friday with Anthony Evans and Makari Vickers. Now Vickers is another lock. So Vickers is there's nothing to change. We're getting Makari or we're getting Vickers. Anthony Evans right now is kind of an interesting thing right now because Georgia's made a little bit of a move. The problem for Georgia is that distance is a problem, and family wants to watch him play, and he's a Texas kid, and so it's easier to get to Norman than it is to get to Athens. Correct. So, and I know Georgia's trying to play up the Cale Gundy thing a little bit, even though Cale's not there anymore, and there's a relationship to some extent. But if you made me choose, I'm going 51-49 in favor of OU right now. I think it's that close. I think it's
that's
close.
what the recruiting sites are saying is it's a little bit more OU right
I think
now.
it's gonna be really close, but I think he's keeping that like from there's a video he made a video, he made one for both, so that's where it's at right now. So again, a lot can happen between now and Friday, so we'll see. But as of right now, as we're talking, I like OU. Even if he goes Georgia, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to affect things too much. I would like to have him. It'd be great. It's not going to kill the recruiting class because we still have decent guys already committed, and we didn't in theory lose anybody off of the
right
thing. So, but Vickers to me is like the bigger get in my opinion because you get another high quality defensive back, like really high quality guy. So we're really starting to rack up defensive guys. But Renaud's the next guy after that we know there's a date. And we already talked about Hicks, and they're trying to get one from McDonald, that really highly coveted defensive tackle. They're trying to get him to take a visit. They're trying to get him to be the last visit. Caden McDonald, defensive tackle. He wants to take a visit, but OU wants him to be his last visit is here. He's not taking a visit. Like they want to get him on campus and get him to commit because they want him to. That's
right. They want him to commit there. What about Riddick? Because he narrowed down to Georgia, Tennessee, us, Kentucky, and Florida State. Any news from him?
Who?
DeMarcus Riddick, 4-star.
No, we're not getting him.
Okay. I wasn't sure on that because he narrowed it down. I wasn't sure if he just threw us in there at this point.
No,
just as
no one's talking about him, so I would.
Gotcha.
No.
What about our Notre Dame person?
Remember Jacoby Johnson? It was always tomorrow. And then eventually we got Jacoby Johnson.
The Dragons are coming eventually.
Yeah, something like that. Be patient on the Peyton Bowen thing. So, like, they're still going hard after him and Yates at LSU. So, the word is that they wanted him, like, he wanted to make a decision before high school football season started. It's starting fairly soon. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's not coming to OU, but what I'm telling you right now is, like, he ain't going to Notre Dame, I don't think, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, like, it's more of a trying to figure out the best way to do it, if that makes sense. So,
yeah, how to do it right.
A lot of people are picking A&M because A&M reasons. I still believe at the end of the day, he's going to end up at OU because coaching staff, high school teammates, girlfriend. If he goes elsewhere, we tried, man. If we lose, fine, we lost. But I'm still gonna bet on his high school teammates, his younger brother who wants to go to OU, and his girl. So I'm gonna say this because I truly believe this: pussy remains undefeated. So
it's true.
And at the end of the day, if he loves this girl who plays soccer, it's a Billy Bowman situation. I'm telling you. So it's not the first time we got a high quality safety because of a girlfriend who plays athletics at OU. So
it won't be the last either.
So I'm still betting. I'm still betting on the undefeated streak. You know what? So
what about Deal? The chat's been asking about him as well.
Everybody wants Deal. I don't know. A lot of these like recruiting, like we're starting to get into the season, so we got to see how the season plays out when guys are gonna like take official visits. I know the one I know is like the Icona kid out of Utah, which everybody wants, including OU. He is a high Tassilia Icona. I think he's coming in for the Kansas game, last I heard. So he's going to come in for that one. So I do like a shot at him definitely right now. But everything I've heard. So
based on everything that's gone on right now, is it wrong that I keep on thinking that this coaching staff tries hard? And this isn't even a shot at Tebow. It seems like they're really pushing to do recruits versus some of them was like, they were a little more wishy-washy on it, or they didn't push. This one seems like they keep going till the end.
No, like here's the thing. Grinch and his staff, for the most part, were good recruiters.
Yeah.
Like, we have good football players on this team. They just weren't coached properly. They weren't developed properly. It's like you have like Bowman, and it's like, excuse me, let me throw that up. Sorry.
You're good.
You have
Wow,
guys
I can hear
like
that dog.
Be right.
I heard the dog, guys, but no, it's just a curiosity while Sean walked away for a sec. It's just because based on Tebow with it or some of the other prior coaches, it just doesn't seem like they followed through to the end, where it seems like with this coaching staff under Venables, guys, it seems like they are going that extra mile. They are going above and beyond. And sure, Grinch could recruit, Riley could recruit, but it seems like at times they just could not close the deal. It's always something where I always ask myself with the 4th of July stuff. Great, fantastic parties, guys. Did it actually lead to any commits? And, I actually still need to do that research video at this point, if that actually has been a thing. But it always made me wonder, has it actually caused recruits to actually look at OU in a better light, to actually consider us with it? I've never really seen anything from that versus now where we're getting all these recruits and everything like that. And I agree with you, Sean. I think we are really, really pushing for the defensive side of the ball, especially the D linemen as well. Maybe it could be the case of how much we're losing with it. It could be just based on like recruits and stuff with it, because I think those are legitimate reasons for it.
Right.
But who knows? Anyway, continue, Sean.
I just killed a dog. Anyway,
he wanted attention.
What were you?
They were asking. I was asking like the recruiting, like going the extra mile, because it just seemed like. Yes, Lincoln Riley and
Grinch
could recruit.
Brent was a great recruiter at OU, and then you had Todd Bates, and then you have a guy like Mikael Chavis who's just like a rising star all of a sudden. So you have guys who can not only recruit defense but can go after some of the top tier guys and win battles. Like, we haven't had that in a long, long time. So
yeah, and that's why it just seems like. They're doing follow-ups. They're making sure these players are happy. I'm not saying the previous admin or even before that with Bob didn't do that, but it just seemed like on players we should have been getting, they were dropping the ball more frequently, and it doesn't seem like that at this current time, at least to me. So, anything else for recruiting news or anything, Sean, with it? Because as far as I'm aware, there's no other recruiting stuff out there at the moment.
I mean, the only thing imminent is like Friday. So, like I mentioned before, it's Makari Vickers and Anthony Evans. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it's just recruiting is an everyday thing. You're monitoring stuff. You're keeping an eye on like guys who are going to set dates. And like, again, most of your recruiting class nowadays is going to be set before the season starts, because guys even in high school, they want to have a decision made before. Like, some of the higher profile guys are going to want to take trips during the season, so you'll have guys who will go, who are going to say, I'm going to come to OU when they play Baylor or Oklahoma State or whatever,
right?
And so they're going to use those official trips, those visits. Those are big deals, because you're not just visiting your potential future home to play football at. You can see a pretty big football game live up close and in person. So, and you get the royal red carpet treatment. So, anyway, Wilt Fong just crystal balled Evans to Georgia. Wilt Fong did it. So, yep. So that's hey, if we lose him, we lose him. He got Fong to Georgia. So we'll see what happens on Friday. But I'm sure everyone here is talking about it in certain places. Yep.
We'll have to see.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
Did Fong do it? Yeah, Fong did it. So, yeah, if we lose out on him, it's not the worst. It's not the end of the world. So,
yeah,
we'll see. But we're getting Vickers on Friday. So, again, sucks. You're going to lose some battles, but this is one like I'm not going to lose sleep over at the end of the day. I'm sure some people are going to point to Kale and everything and whatnot, but we shall see.
It is what it is. What about because Tyler asked it earlier in the chat.
The funny thing is, it's not going to affect things that much, because the Vickers commit is way bigger than the Anthony Evans commit. from like a
Why
rating
so?
stand. Well, because I played around with it today. I mean, I don't know if Georgia has any other pending commitments this week, but if we
Gotcha.
if we us getting Vickers, them getting Evans, we would still jump Georgia in the 24/7. So
Oh wow.
we
So
would still have like it would like getting like from a point standpoint, like getting Evans like gives you a couple. Harry Vickers gets you a lot more. So just based because he's a much more higher caliber recruit. So if we split on Friday, whatever happens. So, but we'll still, if as long as nobody else does anything else or whatever, we should have a slim lead on Georgia for the time being. So,
gotcha. So that's one of those.
But again, what else is going to happen this week? Other places.
Yeah. Well, what's your thoughts on because as I mentioned, Tyler asked earlier in the chat. It's kind of last thing we'll wrap up about. What's your thoughts on the Big Ten basically divorcing ESPN and rolling with NBC, CBS, and Fox at this point?
I mean, that was kind of inevitable. I don't think it's a big deal because, oh my God, they're not going to be on ESPN. Yeah, but they're going to be everywhere else. So who cares? You're getting like it's not like you're doing some experimental channel or streaming services no one has heard of before. You're going to be on NBC, CBS, and Fox. I think the Big Ten is going to be fine. So,
are you surprised about NBC going all in on football now versus just like where they were a little wishy-washy on it for like college?
Well, no, because they're setting their chess pieces to get Notre Dame to join the Big Ten.
Right.
Notre Dame's not going to do it because they don't have to. I was like, oh my God, Notre Dame's join the Big Ten. Are you in a position where they're going to be forced to join a conference full time? Oh, they're not? Okay. Because Northwestern is going to make more TV money than Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really dumb when you say that out loud, but that's not Northwest. That's not Northwest. That's not talking crap on Northwestern.
It's like, Notre Dame's fault.
Notre Dame has this belief. They live in this fantasy world. Like, well, we have all this stuff and we have all this, we have all our independence and we can, like, Notre Dame likes to build their schedule around one or two games that people will care about and the rest are garbage. And it's their way of like sneaking into postseason play or, national championship conversation. That's why they've always done business. So they don't want to have to, like, the only way you can force Notre Dame to join a conference, you have to, I've said it before, you have to impact their ability to compete for a national title. That's what they care about more than anything. Their independence, you have to tell Notre Dame, all right, these are the rules, got to be in a conference. Then they'll join a conference. They will only, because Notre Dame used to be a lot of things. They're independent. They stopped playing in bowl games for 40 years. Why? Because national titles were awarded before bowl games. Then the AP and the coaches poll eventually got on board and said post bowl games will award out. And guess who started playing bowl games in the 1970s? Notre Dame. So you have to put a gun to their head and say, you can't play for a national title unless you do this. That's what will make them change.
Yeah.
They'll hate it. They'll cross their arms and cry about it. But why did they join the ACC in the COVID year? Temporarily. Because they wanted to play for a national title because everyone else was canceling around. They had to do something. They wanted to be part of the conversation, and guess what? They're in the playoff and they got to play for a national title.
Do you think any pressure, because the fans really like that, do you think that timeline's going to speed that up with how much the fans liked being in a conference? They actually said winning the conference.
No one's going to do that. No one is going to, like, first of all, you have to get everyone on board who's involved in the playoff and the way it's structured, which is like all the big boy conferences, to agree to that. And they're not going to do that just for, hey, we'll do this favor for the Big Ten so they can get Notre Dame. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that at all. So it's like Notre Dame, it's like as long as you give them an option to get in this playoff, they're going to remain independent. They'll take a pay cut. They'll seriously take a pay cut. They don't care.
they want to have their independence unless it affects them getting to the Natty.
They want to schedule Navy and a bunch of other teams, and like the only other way you could do it, the Big Ten. If the Big Ten wanted to play hardball, all right, you don't get to play USC anymore. You don't get to play. That's their number one rival. You can ask any like USC and Notre Dame. That's rival 1A, 1A for both teams. So you don't get to play USC, Michigan State.
You have
Purdue.
to.
You don't get to play Ohio State. All of your regional Big Ten. Nope, you don't get to play those anymore. You can go play Army, go play Navy, go play Florida State. I guess if you could do that. You gotta lock them out. You gotta force them to do it.
Well,
So they're not gonna willingly go. Yeah, we're gonna do it because they think they're special. They think they matter, and they don't really matter that much. But they've had more success than certain other teams I can think of who think they're super special. They've at least. No, I mean, like Notre Dame has at least been part of the playoff conversation and whatnot, so I give them credit for that. Like Brian Kelly, despite him getting made fun of at LSU, like Brian Kelly got Notre Dame to, I think, what they're
supposed to be.
Not what they're supposed to be, but like kind of like the maximum of what they can do.
Yeah,
I think Notre Dame is like peaked. I don't think Notre Dame can be ever. The way they do things and the way they structure things and the way just, I'm sorry, unless you're 40 and above, only people 40 and above give a damn about how beautiful the campus is at South Bend. I'm sorry. Like I hear, oh, the campus is so beautiful. 18-year-olds don't care. Like you are like isolated from everything. Like Chicago is like 2 hours away.
It's like the Washington State scenario at that point where it's like, it's so pretty, but it's like 5 hours away from civilization.
It's like one of the reasons Austin, Texas is very attractive to a lot of big time recruits is that you can go down to 6th Street and have a good time. And sometimes you attract the wrong recruits who that's all they care about. But hey, it helps.
Well, and you can't ignore that either. Like there is stuff that people.
Oklahoma City is not like the greatest party city ever, but
it's 20.
There is a city. It is a city that's nearby. You're not out in the like South Bend's out in the middle of effing nowhere.
Right.
It's literally like this glorified high school town.
Don't talk about Stillwater like that.
It kind of is.
No, but you're not wrong. I mean, I think the same thing, like I said, about Washington State, about Oklahoma State. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, but what do you think? You mentioned it even today. Do you think they're going to push up OU and Texas leaving to 2023 now with these moves, as well as how much do you think they're going to make from it? Because it's well over 100 million, right?
Well, yeah, the SEC is going to make that at some point. Like that's going to happen. But I did a video today. There's a lot of hints that 2023 is a possibility because you have,
the basketball.
Well, yeah, that was a little bit. Oh, we're canceling that tournament because you can't have two teams for the same conference. Okay, that's one. You have there was scuttlebutt about the Georgia game next year getting canceled, and the only reason you would do that, it's not Brent's not a pussy. He would play that game, especially when it's at home. You would play that game, and also it's like, well, maybe you'd cancel it because hey, you're going to be in the SEC next year. What was the other stuff? God, I'm totally blanking here. Oh yeah, the SEC is like leaning towards the 9-game conference schedule. Like Chris Lopez goes, hey, they're starting to lean towards like, funny. We kept hearing they wouldn't come to a conclusion or a decision anytime soon, but now all of a sudden they're starting to lean towards something interesting. It's
there's too many there's too much smoke coming from the fire.
Because why would you need to have a decision now if it's not going to happen until 25 in theory? You know what I mean? Like if you're because like, oh, we'll deal with that next spring. Next spring, we'll have SEC coaches, the SEC meetings next spring, and we'll deal with it. No, if that's you're not gonna have stuff kind of like, leak out a little bit, just trickle out a little bit. If you're like, well, maybe there's something happening. So, like I said, I've heard comments realignment news drop in the middle of a football game, like once. So, like when Syracuse and Pitt got announced, they're going to the ACC. It was the middle of the OU Florida State game in 2011. Breaking news! Like Brent Musburger's like, breaking news: Syracuse and Pitt joining the ACC. He's like, oh, it was the middle of football. That was like second week of September. So yeah, definitely something that can potentially happen early in the season. So schedules for I know the SEC schedules tend to drop in September as well for the next year.
Yeah.
So if they don't drop or before they drop, something gets talked about or leaks. So I think at the end of the day, they're preparing for the best case scenario.
Case.
So like if you're OU basketball, you're canceling that spot in the tournament just in case.
Because it's a nothing tournament too. It's not like,
I mean, yeah, you don't have to play in it or whatever.
It
but
helps,
like,
but
let's, because like there's people message boards saying, I've heard from so and so though it's 23. I've heard from so and so it's 23. So, I take that with a grain of salt. But again, like I would be shocked if we heard in the next month or so that it's official that we're going to make the move in 23. Because the other thing people go, well, no schools who make an announcement they're leaving stay more than 2 years. This would be unprecedented if we stayed any longer. And I agree with that. Like I'm still, if you made me force me to bet, I'd still bet on 24. Because again, these are just like, I would need another big hint to drop. It's like, okay, this is definitely happening now. Like if SEC schedules that don't get announced like when they normally do, I'd be like, okay, all right. Like second or third week of September, you don't hear schedules drop for both the Big 12 and the SEC. I'm like, I just think there's too much motivation to make something happen. Because also the fact that UCLA and USC are going to be in the Big 10 in 24, I think like that you go back to that, like, okay, we need to get OU and Texas in the SEC as soon as possible. I think that was the catalyst that got things really going potentially.
Well, that was my thoughts too. I feel like too many things are, plus with Sooner Vision on ESPN Plus, like I felt the same way that too many things are starting to look, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck type of deal from it. Now, do you think we're going to get more expansion, though, before this happens, or do you think both are kind of fine at the moment with their two teams?
Conference expansion is like, well, there are teams who would love to like jump ship and go to other conferences, but they have to get the invite first. Like, no one in the ACC wants to hang around. Everyone in the ACC is hating life for the most part. I mean,
they're stuck. They were like us. They're stuck.
Yeah, they're stuck. And then you have Washington, Oregon, who are begging to join the Big Ten at this point.
Let me in! Let me in!
Yeah, Cal and Stanford want to go with them too. So, I don't know. Like, I'm at the point where conference realignment is like not like a focus that much anymore. I just want to watch some actual football games. So,
I mean,
if news drops, it drops because, like I said, it could happen at any time whenever something like this happens. But I'm at the point where it's like, okay, I just care about OU getting to the SEC and finding an actual what year are we doing it. So, is there stuff I want to do and get ready for and prepare for? I'm going to make more money. Like if we go to the SEC in 23, I'm going to make more money without question. Am I going to make more money?
We'll welcome all of our new conference people to our live streams and tell them welcoming.
Yeah, I have like, bro. I will be. I'll have so much fun with the we're taking over stuff.
Go get your Burger King crown right now.
I'm not even talking about like New World Order. I'm talking about the Blue World Order from ECW with Stevie Richards. Like, we got 3 words for you. We're taking over.
Wow. Here's my question for you.
Sooner, I'll get like made up like SWO shirts, Sooner World Order, or something like that.
Along with your don't care one natty. Be the most glorious. Wouldn't that be the most glorious year if we won it this year? Walk right into the SEC. You would have 2 T-shirts. I would ready to go.
Oh please! Like my circle jerk masturbating scenario would be to walk in year 1 to the SEC, run the table, win the natty. Like I think that'd be everyone's like wet dream right there.
God, we would be unbearable. It'd be fantastic.
I would never let them hear the end of it. even if we sucked for like the next 10 years, just because we just put all our eggs in one basket. I'd still, you know what? We still walk into your league and we just like kick your door down
in year one.
We kicked your door down, sat on your couch, and drank your soda, and watched your DVR right in front of you. There's nothing you can do about it.
Oh man,
you haven't seen this episode of Better Call Saul yet? Well, guess what? I just watched it and deleted it because I could.
Man, now I want that to happen. So
just
badly.
Walking into Alabama, sitting on their couch, drinking their A&W root beer. Like, hey,
oh man, see,
that,
it's the SEC shorts waiting to happen.
Drinking your diet slice, bitch. I don't know where I'm coming up with these just random sodas, just like
because you can't name the name brand ones on a live stream now.
Those are name brand. What are you talking about? A&W and Slice?
Well, yes,
those are name brands. They're just not popular. It's like
that's what I mean.
Hey, what's up?
One more question, when we'll wrap up for the night, Sean. Whatever year we walk in, who do you want OU to actually play at home for their first year? If you had the choice to design the schedule, like
Missouri, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, give me a reason. Why Missouri? Just Big 8?
Hang on.
Okay.
Do you want me to give you like a home schedule here? So we would have what? We're gonna have we're gonna have 4 home games. So Texas is gonna be one because that's neutral site. So it's gonna be a 4-4 flip. Give me Missouri, Vandy, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. There we go. As our home slate. There you go.
Repeat it again. Kentucky, Missouri.
You know I'm messing with you, right?
No, I mean, realistically, maybe that's what you want. So
we just conquered the SEC. Dude, you played Vandy and Missouri. And it's like, yeah. Mississippi State. Kentucky's probably the strongest one. South Carolina, baby. Let's go. Yeah.
I mean,
I just have like the most garbage SEC schedule imaginable.
Imagine if that
Look
was
at what we did.
And we went in and won it all. Imagine if we won it all that way too, though.
I wouldn't mind playing Auburn the way they suck right now. Let's play Auburn again.
I have family out in that area. I'd love to go visit the campus right now. But seriously, in your serious one, who would be your 6? Your true 6.
We wouldn't play at home. Well, first of all, we would play a 9-game schedule, right?
Right. Which 6?
One of them has to be Texas, so that's going to be so.
No, I'm talking just the home slate.
You want a home slate? So do you want?
Yes, because
so
Texas doesn't count, right?
Right. So it's going to be 4 games.
That's fair.
It has to be 4, not 5 or 6.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, 4.
Math, everybody.
Look, math was not my strongest.
So Texas is going to be neutral site every year, so we're not going to have a 5-4 or a 4-5 setup. It's not going to happen that way. So anyway,
I didn't think about it that way. I genuinely didn't. It didn't click till now.
See, so I would love to play. Give me Arkansas, Tennessee, A&M, and Kentucky.
Really? Not Georgia, Bama, or LSU, one of those 3?
I gave you a good slate.
That is a good slate. But I am thinking of, for the first year, how many OU fans would want to see us go play Missouri and A&M in the same year? I think they want one.
No one cares about Missouri. No one gives a fuck. Are you excited for Missouri? No one's excited for Missouri.
I'm looking at it as they want to see new opponents. Missouri's Big 12.
Missouri's not new.
No, they were Big 12.
But they're not new.
Right. I'm looking at it as
A&M's not new either, but A&M, like, we hate, like, there's hatred there on some level between both schools. Like, Missouri is like
a cult.
Yeah, but Missouri is like a bitch school. We always beat Missouri.
I'm thinking of it as we played them in the Big 12, substitute one out for it. But that's how I was thinking of it. But that's still a solid slate, though. Like, that's not a pushover slate. Would it sell tickets? Sure. Absolutely.
No, forget that. Like, just give me Arkansas, A&M.
Arkansas would be the big game in my opinion.
Give me Arkansas, A&M, Tennessee, and like Kentucky. It'll be fun. Let's do that.
Tennessee, yeah, that would be a fun one. Which game will be the biggest one to Norman? Bama, Georgia, or LSU? Which one would be the fans frothing at the mouth?
jeez, Bama.
I think LSU.
No, Bama. Are you kidding me?
Bama.
It's Bama.
It's Bama, but LSU.
It's Bama.
But LSU.
It's Bama.
Yeah.
You beat the. Listen, when you walk into the prison yard, you don't beat up the second biggest guy or the third biggest guy. You go after the biggest guy, and you kick his ass. Guess what? You're in charge.
That's fair.
You're in charge of the prison yard now. So don't give me the second or third biggest guy crap. Like, it's Bama, without question. You beat up the biggest guy in the yard because until I know Georgia's the reigning champs and all, but
well, there's revenge factor with Georgia as well as LSU, and we've had
sure there is,
Bama,
but guess what? There's revenge factor with Bama too.
But we've beaten Bama in the past 10 years.
Okay, there's still revenge factor. We lost to them last time we played. I was there.
I'm so sorry.
So guess what? It's not that hard. It's Alabama. You can be mad at they're going to be hyped for Georgia and LSU too, but guess what? Bama. Bama's the big dog in the yard.
I always kept thinking LSU, and now I've gone back. Now I'm thinking Georgia just because of that road.
You're thinking this. You're thinking about this way too hard. OU and Bama and Norman again would be huge.
Yeah, no different than OU and Bama in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah,
it would be bonkers.
Yeah,
it would be bonkers.
It'd be insane. So
that Arkansas one, that's actually the one I cannot wait to play. They hate us for whatever reason, and I think it's
because
they
Arkansas wishes they were us. That's the truth. They hate the fact that they're not us. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. Sean, let's wrap up. So I want to thank you again for coming on to the live stream. We've got this week, Sean, and then week 1 starts next week. So everybody, thank you for joining tonight. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, and hit the notification bell when you know we go live on Sundays and Wednesdays. I hope everyone has been enjoying the Wednesday shows right now. We're still going to be continuing that. Join us Wednesday, as all we're going to do is talk OU stories. That's all it's going to be that entire time at this point. We're living great moments. What games we've enjoyed, what moments of it, just going to be fun fanfare for the next week at this point. Same thing with next Sunday. Sean, we're just going to swap stories next Sunday or Monday. No, it would have to be possibly Monday because next week I may not be able to do live stream next week. I have a prior commitment, so it's either going to be pushed to Monday or we'll just skip it and wait till after UTEP.
Well, I'm busy Monday, so sorry.
You got wrestling. You got wrestling Sunday.
No. Not even wrestling. I just got I do another live stream that's not sports related. So,
what you do other things? That's like, oh, what is it? Anime? Please tell me it's anime.
No, it's not anime.
That's disappointing. So, anyway, guys, thank y'all again. Comment, rate, subscribe, and we'll see everyone here on Wednesday show. Boomer Sooner, only one.